Hello everyone and welcome. In this video I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on The Walking Dead Season 11 Episode 8. As is the norm with all my videos, I won't be holding back on any spoilers, so please do keep that in mind. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin. I didn't really like this episode. I think it is a poor way to end the first third of the final season of The Walking Dead, and it doesn't help that it contains probably the dumbest cliffhanger on the show since the Season 6 finale. Yeah, it's just not very good. Anyway, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, so let's go back to the beginning. This episode focuses on events taking place at two different locations. We have a storm that hits Alexandria, and we finally see Maggie launch her attack on the Reapers. And I'll start by discussing the Reaper stuff first, because that's where the awful cliffhanger comes into play. The episode begins with Pope sending one of his men to investigate a walker herd that's appeared outside his camp. On Pope's commands, this dude goes and leads the walkers away. And to be honest, this guy is a bit of a moron because, I mean, why is he walking backwards the entire time? I mean, it's so obvious that something's going to come up behind him, you know, stop him in his tracks. And what a surprise, some more walkers appear and block his path because they appear behind him. I mean, come on, we all saw that coming. So this dude does manage to fight off the walkers for a bit. However, I'm not sure why he didn't just run to the left or the right and, you know, run up the hills and on either side, because there's no way he was going to kill all of them. Anyway, he goes to attack one walker, but it's not actually a walker, it's Negan in a walker mask in a skin suit, and Negan dodges his attack and then stabs him and then kind of pushes him over to Maggie, and Maggie finishes off the job. And yeah, I have to admit, I did think that was quite cool, seeing these two use walker tactics. And of course it reminded me of what happened to Jesus when he was caught by surprise when he went to attack a walker and it turned out to be a person. So yeah, I did like that. Maggie and Negan send the herd back to Meridian when it gets to nighttime, and Pope has some landmines that he's put out front, so it does slow the walkers down a tiny bit. Whilst this is all going on, and Maggie and Gabe then make their way into Meridian via some kind of secret entrance, and this show really does seem to have a fetish currently for secret entrances and exits. I mean, we saw Maggie and co use one when they escaped that house the other week. Would it count as a secret entrance when she came under the train cart in the start of the season? I don't know. But yeah, it just seems like there's always some kind of, you know, backdoor entry to these places in The Walking Dead now. It just kind of feels a bit cheap. Maggie then does some crazy shit whereby she gets in this pickup truck that she finds inside Meridian and then rams it through the front door so that all the walkers can enter and all the walkers can come in. It did seem a bit odd that she jumped out of the car and the car went with such force that it smashed open the door, because it's not like she put a brick on the pedal to keep it going. I mean, she can't have got that much speed, and you know, in this little pickup truck in the small area she was in, but it's like she gets in the car and it's suddenly going like 100 miles an hour and she jumps out of it and it has enough force to smash open a door apparently, even though she's not accelerating it anymore. Yeah. Anyway, it's at this point that Pope reveals his secret weapon. Pope has the Armored Titan. Alright, no, what he actually has is like some kind of weird fireworks / grenade launcher contraption. And Pope wants to fire the weapon even though his people are still on the ground, which means they'll be caught in the crossfire. Leah objects to this, and then Pope goes on some rant about, well, if they're God's chosen people, then they'll survive the fire. And yeah, it's just really cringy. I mean, I think the whole religious aspect of his character is really half-assed and underdeveloped. I mean, much like the Reapers in general, to be honest. Prior to this moment, Daryl came out to Leah, not like came out as gay, but he came out and told her the truth and said that these people are my people, Maggie's my people, he's my people, please don't hurt them, please, you know, stop Pope from firing this machine. And just as Pope is about to do it, Leah stabs him through the neck, and that's the end of Pope. What an anticlimactic death. Yeah, that was really disappointing because, I mean, Pope died and we still don't even know why the Reapers had it out for Maggie. What caused the conflict between the Reapers and Maggie? We still don't know. I mean, at least I was expecting this episode with Maggie being at his camp was these two to come face to face. Maybe have some dialogue. Maybe Pope captures her and, you know, at least they talk it out and we know what's caused this conflict. We learn a bit about their history, but no, the two don't even meet each other. Instead, Leah kills him and yeah, that's it. Pope's dead. What an absolute waste of a character. And I say this as someone who's never cared about Pope. I never liked him, but yeah, just such a lame way to die. And it kind of confirms to me that he's probably the worst villain The Walking Dead has had on the show. I mean, the dude didn't even get involved in any fighting. All he did was just bark orders at his people, just telling them, "Are you not ashamed? Are you not ashamed of yourselves? Are you not ashamed?" Like, he didn't do anything. He didn't even get on the ground and fight. It's just pointless. Absolutely pointless. I would argue, though, what happens next is probably even worse than Pope's death, because after he dies, Leah radios the rest of the Reapers and says to them, Pope's dead. Daryl Dixon did it. And then she goes on this huge speech about family. Pope was going to kill my family, so we did the right thing killing him because I have to protect my family. These people are my family. You're not my family. And I think this comment that I found on Reddit just about sums up how I felt about this scene and, sums up some of the dialogue in this episode in general. It says, I felt like I was watching The Fast and Furious because of how much they were talking about family. And I mean, the person who made this comment isn't wrong, and there's quite a few, that I've seen on the Reddit kind of post about this episode of people just mocking the use of family and mocking the conversations in this episode, and yeah, it's kind of is hard to take it seriously. As I mentioned at the start of this episode contains an awful cliffhanger, and what happens next is that the Reapers retreat because Leah wants to use her weapon, and obviously she's different to Pope in that she doesn't want to fire it with her people out there. So the Reapers retreat, and then Maggie and Negan look up to like this, I don't know, what would you even call it? Fireworks display, I don't know what it is, but they look up to it and then the rockets fire and that's it, cut to credits. It's just so bad. I mean, can you imagine if the episode Too Far Gone, if that ended just as the governor is about to slice Herschel's neck and then it goes, yep, that's it, episode over, see you in 6 months time, suckers. I really thought Angela Kang was better than this, but it does seem like she's been taking lessons from Scotty G. And I've said it before, but it does kind of seem now like season 9 of The Walking Dead might have been a bit of a fluke because there'd been many instances in the last 2 seasons of stuff like this, just dumb stuff that really irritates me. The fight between the Reapers and Maggie was just getting interesting, and that's it, the episode's over. Yeah, so we'll see you in February when the show resumes. Just really annoying. It's like, imagine if you're having sex with someone and you're just about to orgasm, and before you do, they suddenly just pull themselves off you, roll over and go to sleep and leave you unsatisfied. That's what this episode felt like.
Sounds like you're describing what your girlfriend feels when she has sex with you, Joshy.
Fuck you, Scott.
Actually, I'd rather you didn't fuck me, buddy, because I need someone who can satisfy me. Later, loser.
Did I just get roasted by Scotty G?
Yes, you did.
I can't believe The Walking Dead ended things at this point because this episode really should have been the end of the Reaper arc. It should have wrapped things up and then, when we come back, we have a fresh new storyline or, expands on the Commonwealth or something like that. But instead, what this means is that when The Walking Dead resumes, it's still going to be about the bloody Reapers, and I don't care about the Reapers. Why is the show wasting so much of its final season on such an average group? Like, I don't want to see another 8 episodes about the Reapers. Just please, I have no interest in seeing this dumb Daryl versus Leah storyline that's going on now. Like, I just really don't care. Honestly, at this point, I would have rather the Walking Dead writers and showrunners have come out before season 11 aired and said, look, you know what? We know the Commonwealth arc in the comics is quite short, and that's why we're going to cut this season from 16 episodes to 10 episodes. I would rather have a season that is just focused on the Commonwealth and maybe have a few one-off episodes like the Connie one, because I did like that, instead of just, including the Reapers just to bloat out the story, because that's all they're here for, just to bloat out the story. They're just padding. And, The Walking Dead has already proved that when it goes away from the source material, when it deviates from the source material, it doesn't normally end well, and here we are yet again with another original group who just aren't that interesting. In addition, the cliffhanger ends with these rockets being fired towards Maggie and Negan. And let's be honest, no one really thinks that Maggie and Negan are gonna die from some bloody fireworks being shot at them in the 8th or 9th episode of the final season. It's not going to happen, so this cliffhanger is absolutely pointless because there's no tension, because all that's going to happen when the show resumes is they're just going to dive out the way and they're going to be absolutely fine. So what was the point of stopping it there? I really don't know. Also, what bugged me is that when the Reapers are retreating, Maggie just carries on fighting some walkers, and why? I mean, the Reapers are retreating, they're going indoors, you're only there for the food. Daryl breaks the padlock for the food container previously in the episode. So the Reapers are running away. Just go and get the food. Why are you carrying on fighting? Find another vehicle. I mean, you found that pickup truck pretty easy, or use that same pickup truck if you can and get back in that and load it with the food. Why are you still fighting these guys? You don't have to. And then when Leah fires the rocket at them, it feels like Leah and Negan are just staring at her forever. It feels like an age that they're just looking up going, huh? Run away, what are you doing? Yeah, I really didn't like anything from this part of the episode, and confirms what I've been saying for a long time, that the Reapers are just filler. None of it was really thought out well. Yeah, I don't like it, and I guess now with Leah being this evil woman that she is now, the leader of the Reapers, I can kind of see her killing Connie, and then Daryl will leave in the spin-off show and he'll kill Leah and then he'll go off on his own. So maybe that'll be the catalyst as to why he leaves. But God, I hope that doesn't happen. I really hope that doesn't happen. You know what I would have liked to have seen? I would have liked to see Negan burst onto the roof after Leah takes out Pope, and then Negan kills Leah because he's thinking that he's saving Daryl. You know, and then he walks over to Daryl and he's like, saved your ass there, Daryl boy, and, you know, acting all cocky about it. And then Daryl obviously goes mad because he actually loved Leah. I would have liked that. It would have been like that scene in Game of Thrones where, what's his name? Ollie kills Ygritte, is it? Jon Snow's girlfriend. And Ollie thinks he's doing Jon a favour because he's saving him, but when in reality, Jon loves this girl and he gets really pissed about it. So it would have been like that. I'd have just liked to see, you know, Negan come in, swaggering in, and, you know, think he's saving the day, and then just see Norman lose it, you know, see Daryl absolutely lose it. I think that would have been a lot better than what we got, and maybe AMC should hire me as the writers of this show, or one of the writers, sorry, of the show. There's still time, AMC, for me to save your show. Please, just bring me on board and I'll wipe out the Reapers in one episode. Anyway, let's move on to the other part of the episode. There's a storm at Alexandria. Exciting stuff, and the walls are collapsing and there's a fire, and yeah, walkers are coming in. This part of the episode isn't terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't know, just how many times now have we seen Alexandria be breached and seen walkers come in? It just keeps happening over and over. It's getting really repetitive, and yeah, this entire portion of the episode just feels like it's been done before. It's also kind of irritating that every scene at Alexandria takes place in this one house. I don't know, since the end of last season, Alexandria feels really small. You know, remember in season 6 where it was this big town and, you know, people walking about in it? Now we only ever see like one building all the time. Carol, Magna, Kelly, Connie and Aaron all leave the house and go out to either, I think, take down some of the walkers or put out the windmill, which is on fire, put out the fire. But I don't really understand how the windmill is on fire, considering it's raining so bad that the house the characters are in is actually flooding. So why do they need to stop the fire? Just let the fire go out. The rain will put the fire out, surely. Anyway, that leaves Rosita, Virgil and the kids in the house. I have no idea how Virgil is alive after being stabbed like 6 or 7 times in episode 6. He should have just died. Also, Diane is in this episode for a brief moment, and I think that's the first time she's been on the show since season 10, episode 16, I think. So, yeah, it's nice to see, you know, these extras who we actually know return. Where's Scott, though? Where's my man Scott? I haven't seen him for a while. We get some pretty bad dialogue between Judith and Virgil, in my opinion, in this scene, because Judith is upset that Michonne has left, and she says, oh, why isn't she with me? Why can't my mummy be with me? And then Virgil replies that, she's always with you. It's in the way you hold your sword. It's in the way you are ready to rush into danger. She's always with you, and you're always with her. Please just stop talking, Virgil. I mean, do people really even talk like this? Like, even when you're comforting kids, is there really this need to be this kind of cringy about it? Because she's always with you. Like, I mean, well, she's not, is she? Come on, let's be serious. She's not always with you. She's somewhere else. Like, God, I don't know. I just hate this kind of dialogue. Oh, they're always with you, watching on. Oh, for God's sake. The undead start building up outside the front door of this house, and they're all trying to push against the door and stop them coming in. And then Rosita says, I'm going to go outside and cause a distraction. And she just starts, like, swiping away at the walkers and killing as many as she can. It's a cool scene and all, but I just find it odd that Judith and Lydia are just kind of watching out the windows as Rosita fights against these walkers, or, you know, potentially she could have got herself killed. I mean, thankfully she does survive, because this would have been such a dumb way for her character to die. But I just don't buy the fact that these characters would watch on. I mean, I know that Lydia and Judith are young, but I feel like even they would step outside to help Rosita, or, you know, like kind of pull her inside and help her. I mean, think when Rick went kamikaze in season 6 and, you know, started taking on the entire herd on his own. All the characters rushed out to help him. Maybe you could argue that it would have been the same if they, you know, it would have been too similar if they did the same thing here. But I don't know, I think that would have been kind of a nice callback to have his daughter rush out to help Rosita, and have, you know, other characters do the same thing and helping Rosita, because it just seemed dumb that these characters were like, right, yep, we'll just let you fight on your own outside whilst we'll watch, yep, don't you worry, Rosita, you do your thing. They should have helped her. I mean, I think the scene was only included just to give Rosita something awesome, something badass to do, because she hasn't really done much on the show of late, has she? But yeah, I don't buy that these characters would just sit and watch while she puts her life in danger. Rosita makes her way back into the house, and then a little later, walkers break into the house, and some characters hide upstairs, some characters hide downstairs, and that's the last we see of Alexandria, so even the Alexandria part of the episode ends on a dumb cliffhanger. And overall, it's really underwhelming, and it's kind of annoying that we don't see what the other characters at Alexandria are up to, because the episode teases that Carol and Connie are going to go and work together, because they kind of volunteer people to be put into pairs to go out and either, like I said, take care of the undead or put the wall up or put the fire out or whatever. And Kelly says that Connie wants to go with Carol and these two pair up. And I think that would have been interesting to see these two interact considering their past. I would have rather have spent time with them, you know, instead of just seeing characters try to hold up a door the entire episode of, you know, the Alexandria segment. Yeah, that's a shame, really. For the record, I like the characters who we did see in the house, you know, Rosita, Judith and Lydia. I've said many times that I like these three, but again, they just keep being put in uninteresting situations. They just aren't given a lot to do. Lydia, I like Lydia, but again, all she does in this episode is hold the door for a bit, have a line of dialogue or two, and that's it. The show really hasn't known what to do with her at all since Alpha left, and yeah, it's really frustrating, to be honest, seeing characters like this wasted in favour of a story about the Reapers. So that's season 11 episode 8, a rather disappointing end to this third of the season. And yeah, it kind of sours the whole third of the season as a whole, in my opinion, because it does kind of feel like we haven't really moved the plot forward at all this season. I mean, the Commonwealth stuff is good, but all the Reaper stuff just feels like a giant waste of time, and it's so annoying that it's being stretched out for even longer. And you know, when The Walking Dead resumes, it's still going to be about the damn Reapers. I just don't care. The Reaper arc just feels like filler, and it's really frustrating that that's what we're getting in the final season of a show. They should have just stuck to the Commonwealth and, you know, had the stuff at Alexandria, have them having to leave Alexandria because it's attacked by, you know, I mean, you can do what you've been doing with have Alexandria be attacked by walkers and have it damaged, whatever, but just cut the Reapers out. Just cut the Reapers out, have the Commonwealth, and then have something happen at Alexandria which causes all the characters to make their way to the Commonwealth, because the Reaper arc is just failing miserably, in my opinion. And yeah, it kind of makes me look back at the season as a whole now, and you know, even though like I liked the first two episodes, I thought they were good, they had their good moments, you know, in terms of how they were shot and the action sequences, you know, ultimately they were just about getting to Meridian, and it was just about the Reapers, and you kind of look back at it now and just think, well, that was kind of just a giant waste of time. So yeah, not good, really disappointing, and can't say I'm excited to see The Walking Dead resume with this battle in February against the Reapers. I'm really not looking forward to it, so kind of knocked my enthusiasm completely out of me for The Walking Dead, to be honest. So yeah, I really hope the Reaper arc is wrapped up quickly when the show resumes, because it needs to be. So yeah, that's it. Let me know your thoughts below. Do you disagree with me? Did you like this episode, or do you agree with me that this episode is pretty damn bad? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below, and I shall see you all very soon. Take care, goodbye.
A big thank you to all my best buddies. Thanks, guys.